Between 1619 and 1865, there were 10 million black people enslaved in the United States. Hundreds of thousands were trafficked across the Atlantic Ocean from Africa to port cities in New England, the Mid-Atlantic, and the South. Even though the creation of the United States Constitution following the Revolutionary War granted freedom, justice, and liberty for all, nearly 1 million enslaved black people were trafficked from the North to new states in the American South where they were sent to forced labor camps. Black people were sold and trafficked by steamboats along rivers during agonizing journeys. In chains, they arrived in cities across the South where they were paraded to warehouses, where they would wait to be sold. Many came to Montgomery by rail car, trafficked on rail lines built by enslaved people. Crowded cars would arrive filled with imprisoned people worried about what would happen to them, anxious about being further separated from their loved ones. Trafficked black people were held in holding pens, slave depots, warehouses, and jails where they awaited auctions. The population of enslaved people in Alabama grew from 40,000 in 1820 to over 400,000 in 1860. Slavery was violent. People were whipped and lashed, beaten and abused. Plantation life was hard. Living conditions and dwellings were crowded, hot in the summer, cold in the winter. It was illegal for enslaved people to learn to read or write. Nearly half of all enslaved people were sold and separated from their children, siblings, and partners, forced to pick cotton, sugarcane, tobacco, rice. There was no rest and little comfort. Yet, enslaved people were resilient. Many endured great hardship and cruelty and remarkably loved in the midst of sorrow. They cared for their children and loved ones. Some escaped and fled. All yearned for freedom. 6 million people died enslaved in this country. Through faith, courage, perseverance, intellect, and love, 4 million enslaved people survived and were emancipated after the Civil War. Many immediately sought to find children, spouses, parents, and siblings that had been sold. They committed themselves to citizenship and building new lives, and today tens of millions of us live as their descendants. Many of us carry the names they chose. We are their children. Everyone in this country is the beneficiary of the labor of enslaved people. All of us are impacted by the legacy of slavery, and no one should forget the bigotry, the violence, and racism that slavery fostered, and the continuing challenges we face today as a result. At Freedom Monument Sculpture Park and the National Monument to Freedom, we honor all those who were enslaved in this country. We celebrate the survival of those who endured. We mourn the loss of those who did not. And we hope for a future where the legacy of slavery is acknowledged, the bigotry it created is eliminated, and the harms that still persist are repaired.